Hello and welcome back to art class. Today we're going to wrap up our positive negative space trees. Okay, so just a kind of review of last week, we drew out a sapling tree that just had a skinny little line for a trunk, and then you had the branches. It is really important, as I mentioned in the last video, that your branches actually go to the edge of the paper. They actually have to touch the edge. I saw a few that were not quite going to the edge, and that's going to cause a little bit of a problem today. You also should have a brown colored paper or an actual brown piece of paper. Okay? Either one of these will work. A lot of people don't have brown construction paper, so we just made our own version. Okay, so remember, again, a review about the positive. Positive space is like the drawing itself, and negative space might be the background. So in this case here, the sky would be kind of the background here. But what we're going to use is we're going to change this tree, skinny little tree, into a big, heavy-duty, full-grown tree by doing a little bit of cutting. Okay? It's going to be a little tricky to keep track of everything. So it's going to be super important that you're watching where you place things. To help with that in my video, I would normally glue right to this brown piece of paper, but I want to make it sure that it's really easy to see where my pieces are. So I'm going to use this darker brown paper, but normally I would just glue to this. But I need you to be able to see what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to set this colored paper off to the side. But yes, you can use your colored paper. I'm just doing this so you can see. All right. So you're going to need a few items. You need your brown paper. You also will need your scissors. You may want to have pencil and eraser handy off to the side. Not too much we're going to need for that, but just in case. And you're definitely going to want some glue. So you're going to need these for sure. First thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut very slowly and very carefully right on the tree trunk that I drew. All the way to the top. So I'm starting at the bottom and I'm going all the way to the top. So now it's actually been cut in half. Okay? I'll work with one half in a minute. I'm going to work with this half first. Next, I'm going to do the bottom branch to cut. I'm going to cut on that. I know this sounds really weird, but trust me on this. Okay, now I'm going to put this piece right here so you can see it real easy. I'm going to put this piece right here. Normally they go together, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the bottom in this bottom corner. Okay, just like that. Now since this has some branches I need to cut on those. So the next one I'm going to do, this one here. And for now, I'm just going to put it back together so I know where everything is. And I'm going to cut on this branch right here. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want to have too many branches, because there would be too much cutting. So right now it's kind of like a puzzle. Okay. I'll deal with this piece in a minute. Okay, next, because this is the top up here, I want to move them to the top. So yes, there's a big gap. Then what I want to do is I want to move this halfway between. So it's got a gap here and a gap here. Then I want to move this one over. The corner stays in the corner, and there's a gap here. We're going to leave it right there. Don't sneeze, because then they'll blow away. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the bottom branch here. I'm going to put this piece in this corner. And if you notice, it still fits together kind of like a puzzle. And then I'm going to finish cutting this branch here. I'm going to put it back together. And then I have one more branch right there. Now you may have more or less branches depending on how you drew your tree. All right, so again, I gotta put it back together. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move the two top pieces. So here and here are both top pieces. So I'm gonna move this right there. And then I'm gonna move this one up just a little bit so there's a gap here and here. And then I'm gonna move this one over like this. Okay, now in our picture here, everything's placed. Now, if I sneezed, all this would blow away, so you gotta be very careful. I need you to, it looks really weird. Your picture's like, oh, what happened? The picture's all broken. It's kind of like a drop dish. But if you look carefully, the positive space, okay, our drawing is all the colored stuff, okay? The negative space is all this brown back here, okay? But if you're careful, you'll notice that now this looks like a huge tree trunk right in the middle. And then you have nice thick branches, like this tree grew up and became a big mighty oak tree, or mighty, well in my case, a mighty apple tree. So it's got a big thick trunk. So what I have to do next is I'm going to take my glue. I'm gonna very carefully glue these in place, trying not to move things out of place. Remember, dot, dot, not a lot when you're doing this, because we don't want it oozing all over the place. I like to do the big ones first, just so I know where they're gonna go. Count to 10, make sure they stay in place. I'm going to work my way around, making sure that the pieces stay right where they are. Make sure your corner piece is actually in the corner. Okay, like I said, today's actually a pretty easy day. That's actually all we need to do. If you want, you can add maybe a hole that might be in a tree that a squirrel might be on or in. Right? That would be done with probably black. Again, you could be gluing this to this. I just wanted to make sure that you could see easier using a brown piece of paper, but definitely use your colored paper if you don't have the brown, because that's totally fine. I just want to make sure you can easily see the work today. Once you're done, you can upload this, take a photo of it and upload it to Seesaw for me, and I will see you next week with a new project.